Well, good evening. This is Dewan, along with Jennifer and Taylor. This is our fourth or fifth take. Anyway, this is Experience Mid Valley Fellowship, our weekly drop in to let you know what's happening with support programs. Apparently, what's happening tonight is we're having technical difficulties. But anyway, also, you would have heard worship in the background. You probably won't now, but we do have worship later on. And then also, we have different lessons that are happening tonight. And so, Taylor, you're going to be facilitating a lesson for Taking Back Ground, correct?
Yes.
And what is Taking Back Ground?
Taking Back Ground is one of our programs that we offer for anyone who is struggling with unwanted same-sex attraction, and just providing healing in that area of struggle.
Yeah. So what's the lesson that you're doing tonight in Taking Back Ground?
Yeah, so tonight I'm teaching on healthy same-sex relationships. So just kind of the spectrum of all those relationships, and what it means to come out of unhealthy same-sex relationships. And not just romantic relationships, but just friendships and community and family, and just really what that means, diving into the past, and also what it means to be a good friend, and live in healthy relationships rooted in Christ.
And so there's kind of the both sides of it, of understanding kind of what are my patterns that I, kind of that feed into kind of unhealthy relationships, and how can I look for healthy ones?
Yep.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Why do you think we focus on same-sex relationships?
It's very important in Taking Back Ground because that's part of their struggle is some confusion and with same-sex relationships, and so part of the healing process that's so important is building in healthy same-sex relationships. So I think that's why it's so important.
Yeah, for sure. And sexual brokenness ultimately is a relational issue. And certainly we see that a lot in Taking Back Ground, is that it's rooted in relational brokenness. And so this is about kind of what are healthy dynamics, and how do we build health kind of in a new direction. And you're going to be facilitating a lesson for Hope Together Year 2.
Yeah.
What is Hope Together?
Yeah, Hope Together is for women, for spouses of individuals that struggle with any area of sexual brokenness. So this is the Year 2 ladies. They've been here for a whole year, and they're back for their second year. And tonight's lesson is going to be it's titled God Esteem Your True Identity. We're going to go into helping to remind them to focus on what God says is true about them, and whether that's through his Logos written word or his Rima revealed word, that he speaks directly to them and speaks identity to them, and encouraging them to access that, remember that. And we're going to go over the Faster Scale, which is a tool that we use around here, and we'll be talking about how they can customize that to use it for their own journey of healing from unwanted behavior patterns.
Yeah, that's good. Cool. And then I'm going to be facilitating a lesson in Clean Heart Year 2, which actually, interestingly, kind of dovetails a little bit with what you're talking about. And it's our fourth lesson on trauma. And so a couple of the tools that they talk about in this particular one, we started out in the first couple of weeks really unpacking what are the traumas that I've experienced and how they affected me. But then last week and this week, I've talked about, okay, how do we then sort of move in a new direction? And so one of those tools, that's called the Viktor Frankl focus. Viktor Frankl was was a Jew in the Holocaust era, and so talking about being in concentration camps and having focus and having vision for being beyond that, and envisioning himself speaking in front of crowds of people, talking about his experience. And so while he was in the midst of this horrific experience, that he had perspective beyond, and that helped propel him out of to be able to survive the trauma ultimately. But then also talking about some other pieces with that, with trauma and interacting with trauma, talking about there was a Navy SEALs sort of, there was an experience where the Navy SEALs had a high sort of rate of people who failed the program because of, particularly after the pool test, which is where they threw guys in the pool and basically tried to drown them, and they were supposed to be calm and respond. And so, which is a trauma, certainly if you think you're going to die, but you're supposed to be in a calm place. And so from that, they learned a few things, that there were some aspects that really helped them to be successful in that. And some of that is like positive self-talk, a mental rehearsal where you sort of envision the thing that you're doing in a healthy way of interacting with it, and also arousal control, where you basically are not allowing yourself to get caught up in fear or in sexual arousal in our context a lot of times, but also can be fear or other things that sort of are heightened place of emotion. And certainly when we're encountering trauma, there can be a heightened place of emotion. And so how do we
Absolutely.
interact with that in a healthy way? So we're going to be digging into that tonight, along with a few other pieces of that. In first year of Clean Heart, they're going to be talking about exiting the highway of denial. Denial is a huge issue when it comes to sexual wholeness as well. We can kind of, and with addiction in general, we can kind of think, I can say no to it anytime I want, and that's not really true. And so beginning to look with reality at like what's the situation, and so that we can then from there build on that, right? So those are a few of the lessons. We have a couple other programs that happen Tuesday nights too. What's one of the other ones that's going
Mending the Soul, or survivors of sexual abuse.
Yeah, and I think they're talking about kind of what are the profile of an abuser. What does an abuser look like? How do you know it's someone's an abuser? That's another one that we have.
We also have Clean Heart for Women, year 1 and 2.
And so, in their lesson tonight, it looks like is heartbreak and betrayal. And I think that's kind of trauma related as well. So anyway, so lots of things going on tonight. Lots of kind of deep topics that we're digging into. And so, as always, this is a spiritual battle, and so we really value your prayers along with us. So I want to encourage you to be praying for us tonight, praying for the leaders and the participants and everybody who's involved in all of that. And then also, you can take this video and like it and share it and let other people know about it as well, and encourage them to be praying for us as well. So anyway, but for now, I think that's about all we got. Thanks for dropping in and checking in with us, and we look forward to seeing you next week for Experience Mid Valley Fellowship.